Hello, and thanks for joining us for the RealWear Navigator 500 Getting Started training. Today we're going to cover the fundamentals of how to get started using your new RealWear Navigator 500 device. All right, let's start with the hardware overview. This is a hands-on workshop, so if you have your Navigator 500, grab your device and you can follow along and learn with us. All right, let's start in the very front, walking through, starting at the power button / fingerprint sensor. To turn your device on or off, you would simply hold down the power button for 3 seconds. If you have your fingerprint sensor set up, to unlock your device with your fingerprint, simply place your finger over the sensor to unlock. You'll notice next to the sensor I have a green blinking light. That's my headset power status indicator. And we're going to cover what this means here in the next upcoming slides. The RealWear Navigator 500 has 4 onboard microphones. 2 of those microphones are located right above and below the power button. You'll notice these pinhole dots here. And next to those, these grooves on the sides are where you would clip in to your headwear accessories, such as your workband that comes in the box. So feel the grooves on the sides. This is where you would clip in to your headset. Moving on the opposite side here, next to the camera, we'll notice some grooves. These grooves would be your speakers on both the top and bottom side. On the side of your device next to the camera, you'll also notice some hardware buttons. The action button serves multiple purposes, but for this factor of just showing us how to get started, pressing the action button once will always take you back to the home screen. Next to the action button, we have our plus and minus buttons. This is going to help you scroll through easy and also be your volume selector, both plus and minus. Moving to the end, we have our removable camera. You'll notice it has a recording flash here at the very bottom and also a flashlight. Our camera has a 48 megapixel sensor, and we'll talk about how to remove and replace this camera here in the upcoming slides. At the very bottom, and possibly the most important factor, is the boom arm. The boom arm moves in 6 different positions to give you that perfect fit. So you can wear it for your right eye. You could invert the boom arm up and flip it over for the left eye. You can also wear it out of your line of sight and safely by flipping it behind your head or above. And when you have your boom arm locked into place for your perfect fit, you can move it closer to your face or farther away. This elbow joint is extremely flexible to bring it closer or farther away from your face. The display pod is a micro display and also swivels around to lock in that perfect fit. And you'll notice at the very top and bottom of the display pod are your front microphones. Notice these pinhole dots here on the display pod will give you your main microphones. And make sure not to cover those because your voice is going to be controlling your device. All right, let's take a look at the rear view, starting with the display window. This micro display, when worn properly, will view as a 7-inch tablet at arm's length. And that's our goal. We want to secure a perfect fit so we can easily see this display window. Moving on to the side, inside where the camera is located, is your micro SD slot cover. You can access this with a screwdriver if you want to add expandable storage. Although it does come with 64 gigs on board, you can add up to 512 additional. In the back, we have our rear band, and on both of these sides, we have 2 dust covers covering both the USB-C port and our 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. The 3.5 millimeter headphone jack plugs here in the back if you'd like to plug in any external earbuds or headphones so you can hear easy in loud environments. On the opposite side, we have our USB-C port that acts as both the fast charger and your data connection. Make sure these dust covers are always secure to protect it from the elements. Although it is IP66 water and dust resistant, we always want to make sure our ports are protected. And then lastly, a removable hot swappable battery. This comes detached in the box. This 2600 milliamp battery, you can actually read the status by pressing the button on the side, even when the battery is removed and not attached to the headset. So let's cover this in some more detail. The first thing you'll want to do when receiving your device is locate the battery that comes separate in the box. Find the side with the gold metal connectors and line it up with the side on your headset with the gold metal connectors. This side slides in first. Then you'll take the opposite side closest to the power button and snap it into place. Although your device comes with a factory charge, hook it up to that USB-C cable and give it a nice full charge. There's two ways to read your battery on the RealWear Navigator 500. You can even read the battery status anytime when the device is powered off or the battery is detached from the unit. If you want to read the status when it's off or detached, simply press the button on the front side of the battery that will give you a light indicator of how much power you have in this battery. Once I attach it to my device and the device is powered on, you'll have your battery light indicator next to your fingerprint sensor. That will indicate how much battery you have left. So if it's red, you need to give it a charge or maybe hot swap because it's less than 10%. Yellow is less than 60%, and green means you have a pretty full charge, more than 60%. So a really nice new convenient feature with the Navigator 500. We already covered how to recharge the battery with the USB-C port, but let's go into some more detail. You can fast charge this device from 0 to 90% in just 50 minutes. So make sure you've got the right cable and you've got your USB-C fast charger with you. You can remove the camera module on your RealWear Navigator 500 or replace it with a different camera. Let me show you how to take your camera off and easily put it back.
Press the back here, flip up 45 degrees, and pull outward. Put on, press against, push.
Deep diving a little bit more into the power button / fingerprint sensor here, a couple of things to note. We talked about holding the power button down for 3 seconds to turn the device on or off. You can also just simply tap this button once and it will put it into sleep mode or wake it up from sleep mode. And remember, to use a fingerprint sensor, simply place your finger over the sensor without applying pressure to it and it will unlock your device. Now that you've learned about the hardware, let's get you wearing your device with the perfect fit. First, you'll want to determine which is your dominant eye. You can follow the instructions on the screen if you're not sure. To place the device over your right eye, we're going to move the boom arm and configure it into the Z formation for the right eye. And for the left eye use, all you would do is invert this boom arm and flip the device over. RealWear devices have auto rotate, so there's nothing you need to program or fix into the settings for it to properly configure to the right eye. I'm right eye dominant, so I'll put mine back into the right eye placement and get ready to attach it to the work band. Now that we've determined how to position our boom arm for which eye, we want to securely fit it with a RealWear approved headwear or PPE headwear with use of clips. This does come with the work band in the box, so all you'll need to do is line up your clips with the grooves inside your Navigator 500. We learned about these grooves here in the hardware overview. They're on both the right or left side. Line up your clips with the hardware grooves and make sure your headwear is snapped into place. All right, let's go over how to achieve the perfect fit. A great best practice is before you even put the device on your head, make sure that your boom arm is in a Z formation or a Z shape. Your shoulder joint is going to be pushed all the way back. Boom arm is going to be flat and your camera straight. Once you have this Z shape locked in, you can go ahead and put your Navigator on and then level it out. You want to make sure everything is straight and flat across your forehead, or however you're mounting it is laying flat. Now you'll want to adjust your display pod, making sure that it's no more than 2 finger lengths away from your cheekbone. bringing it in as close to your eye as comfortably possible and not blocking your line of sight. So for me, I'm going to bring this arm in towards my nose and make sure that I have it adjusted just off to the side in a small glance down. So when I look down on the screen, I can see everything perfect. Lastly, we want to make sure we have the display fine-tuned, and there's a couple of things that can help you out with this. First, you can launch the My Training app tutorial that's located on the home screen of your device. Now that you know how to turn it on and how to use it, you can just say My Training to walk you through to make sure you can see all 4 corners of the screen before moving forward. And when worn properly, again, this should look like a 7-inch tablet at arm's length. So if you're not quite there yet, you can still do some fine-tuning adjustments by moving your display pod. Remember, this is very flexible, and going through these steps again to make sure you've achieved all of the instructions to get your fit locked in. When you're ready to move forward, let's set up our new device. So here we're going to do some device configurations. You can download the RealWear Companion app to help you easily set up your new device. You can download this for both Android and Apple, and this quick download will be on your mobile device to help you through the setup process. Once you've got the app on your mobile device, you're going to follow the steps on the screen to configure and create a QR code that you're going to scan into your Navigator. To scan the QR code with your Navigator, go ahead and say Get Connected, or you can go to My Programs and then say Configuration. Your RealWear device will be looking for that QR code you just generated with your companion app. So once you have that code ready, use your camera to scan in the QR code. Once you scan in the QR code, you will now be connected to your mobile network. Your time and date will also be updated with your language. You're now connected, and you can double check your network connection by viewing your screen and making sure that your network name is displayed on the home page. Let's talk about basic functionality. Now that your device is configured, we'll do an introduction into voice navigation. RealWear offers a hands-free solution, so we use a say what you see concept. Voice commands will be triggered by speaking what you see on the screen. So instead of using your finger to select or swipe, you're going to use your voice to select your commands. Here you can launch My Programs by simply saying My Programs. This will take you to all of your applications located on your Navigator 500. You can also say My Camera to launch your camera, My Files to get into your files, and My Training to launch your training app. The Get Connected and Show Help bubbles located on both the left and right side are also voice commands as well. So you'll notice a pattern here. Bold capital letters or in these gray bubble indicators would be your voice commands. Let's talk about commands that you don't necessarily see on the screen that you can say from anywhere. These are called global commands. You'll notice 7 here located on the left-hand side, such as Navigate Home, which will always get you back to the home screen. Navigate Back will always get you back 1 page. My Controls is access to your quick settings to change things like your volume and your Wi-Fi. Show Help will always give you the voice commands associated with the screen you're on. Mute Microphone will shut off your voice commands. And you can also say Show Notifications and Recent Applications. Let's give another practice by saying My Controls. Here you can speak your selection from the control menu. You can test out the flashlight by saying Flashlight to toggle the flashlight on, and Flashlight again to toggle the flashlight off. Your RealWear device supports 23 different languages and dialects from all over the world. To access your language selector, hold down the action button for 3 seconds. Next, let's practice some basic functionality focusing on the camera. You can launch your camera to take photos and videos by saying My Camera from the home page. Once you launch your camera, you'll notice your camera menu interface with different options. In the upper right-hand corner, you have the option to adjust your zoom level. In the upper left-hand corner, option to adjust your exposure level up or down. In the bottom left-hand corner, you can access more camera settings by saying More Options. And then of course your main camera functions such as record video, take photo, and access those files by saying My Files. We have two zoom options here. We have the standard zoom and the telephoto zoom. Let's check out the difference between the two. To launch the standard zoom, go ahead and say Zoom Level 3. You can switch to the telephoto zoom by saying Telephoto. You can say Zoom Level 3 to see the difference between the standard zoom and the telephoto zoom. To switch back and forth between the two, you can say Telephoto again to take you back to the standard zoom. Let's check out the More Options camera settings. You'll notice a slew of enhanced camera features under the More Options, including aspect ratio, field of view, image resolution and video resolution, frame rate, and video stabilization. You can select these enhanced features to capture photos and videos directly on your device, but remember, when using third-party applications, those will be optimized in different fields within that application. To close this pop-up window, you can simply say Hide Options. You can access your photos and videos directly from the camera by saying My Files. And I'm sure you've guessed by now, to take a photo, you simply say Take Photo, and to record a video, simply say Record Video. The last thing we'll cover in the Getting Started training is how to maintain your software on your new device. Software updates come out around once a quarter, and you can easily do these over the air. To access your wireless updates, simply say My Programs from the home screen. Next, you would say Wireless Updates. Your device will automatically check for the latest software updates. Just make sure you're connected to Wi-Fi, and your device will prompt you to do the download. This will take approximately 1 to 5 minutes, and you want to make sure to have at least 30% battery life before you move forward. Once your update has been installed successfully, you'll see a pop-up window on your screen prompting you to restart your device to activate the latest software version. Go ahead and say OK and restart your device. Let's wrap up with some training resources. If you have more questions or need support with your RealWear device, remember to visit realwear.com/navigator. You can email us at support@realwear.com or even call us with device support. Thank you for your time, and we hope to see you again at another RealWear training.